Today we saw IATA congratulating 4 countries for their speed in moving to financially help airlines that are in trouble and also the travel industry that's in trouble. Let's not underestimate the scale of the travel trade in Ireland. It's €1.4 billion between tour operators and travel agents. We're awaiting word back from the Department of Transport, some indication that there may be a communication on Thursday. The pressure here from the consumer side is to get refunds back in customers' pockets as quickly as possible. A lot of household circumstances have changed in the last 10 to 14 days. The travel industry cannot facilitate that till they get money back from the airlines. The airlines are saying that the scale of what they're facing in refunds threatens their very existence across Europe. The Irish government has the huge advantage that we have 2 well-fitted airlines. Aer Lingus have very low unit costs even within the IAG group. The IAG group has got good cash. It extended its credit line yesterday, and Ryanair are sitting on a lot of cash. They are actually the only airline. They're the only airline processing refunds at the moment. That should count for them. That's a major act of trust with their customers moving forward while other airlines are offering vouchers. For travel agents, the next question is what will happen to their July bookings? This is where their money is made. It's what keeps them going from year to year. How many cancellations will they face, and will customers actually get to where they're supposed to be going in July and August? With Italy extending the lockdown and Spain likely to continue to do so, the crucial countries here, let's face it, are Spain and Portugal. That's where most Irish people go on holidays. More than 2 million trips to Spain every year and nearly 500,000 to Portugal. The travel industry will recover as quickly as those countries recover, and there is a sense that maybe September and October will be the new July and August for travel, and we need a break for that to happen, the way things are working across Europe. What sort of a recovery will it be? A lot of optimism early in the month that Easter would tell the tale and we might see a V-shaped recovery. That's what happened with SARS. You can hear the analysts across Europe and the major aviation people saying it's now going to be a U-shaped, slower back. With 9/11, it took 6 months to go back, but we've no precedent for this unless somebody can remember all the way back to the early 70s and the oil crisis of 1973 when there were very few air routes out of Ireland. A lot of them got cancelled and a lot of them took years to recover. The 1918 so-called Spanish flu, with which this is being compared, came in 3 waves. One was in May, June of 1918. The big one was in November of 1918, and then we got hit with a third in 1919. So the word rebound has been moved around by the medical professionals. We could see 2 or 3 waves of this. Will our industry be fitted out to anything like a state of recovery, especially if it comes in waves like that? And how far are the government prepared to step in? Their initial response was to wait for Brussels. The pressure in places like England and Germany, Portugal, Denmark are that the package holiday directive as we know it, and even EU 261, which was regarded as sacred at the outbreak of coronavirus, were not built to cope for a situation like this. Up and down the country, travel agents have coped heroically with a series of problems. It seems a long, long time ago when people were trying to check out people who had originally checked in for Ryanair and get them checked in again. Also, the changing, the moving of bookings, all of that seems to have passed. Repatriation still there. One of the issues, Malaysia Airlines offering 10 flights from New Zealand because New Zealand was caught in the same way as Australia but had fewer rescue routes for Irish passengers. One of the problems is internal travel within New Zealand means great difficulty in getting those passengers back to Auckland. We also have Irish citizens on board the Zandam. No idea where that is going. It's like a bad parody of Ronnie Drew. The ship sailed for 7 years and then lost its way in the fog, waiting for clearance from Florida to land those passengers. The PSO route from Donegal to Dublin, effectively down to 1 flight a day already. The department has said that that's what they will continue after Sunday. And the pattern out of Irish airports at a time when we should be going from about 230 flights a day to 350 is going to be 25 departures, 25 arrivals in Dublin, 3 from Belfast City, and effectively 1 each from Shannon, Cork and Derry, with Knock closed and Belfast International closed, and Kerry left, like Donegal, with the PSO routes. And we lost another access airport to England today. Bristol is no longer open for commercial operations. That was a Ryanair route out of Dublin. Not that many of them left. If you're going to the UK, you've got a choice of Birmingham, Manchester and London from both Aer Lingus and Ryanair. Obviously Ryanair are flying to Stansted and Gatwick, and Aer Lingus are flying to Heathrow. Ryanair have 2 routes to Scotland left. They're Edinburgh and Glasgow. For Germany, Aer Lingus have Berlin, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Hamburg and Munich. and Ryanair have Cologne. For France, Aer Lingus have Nantes and Nice, have Geneva and Zurich in Switzerland. Both airlines are still serving Amsterdam, Brussels and Lisbon. And Aer Lingus have the transatlantic routes Boston, Chicago and New York, Belfast City, Cork and Shannon to Heathrow, while Ryanair have Cork to Stansted. Sometimes the route still being there can be a bit of a problem. It means the flights are not cancelled. It means the refund policy is not in place for Ryanair, and the 110% voucher policy is not in place for Aer Lingus. This can be sometimes a hindrance rather than a help, but connectivity is important in these times. Gatwick have only one terminal open. EasyJet and British Airways have both halted their services, but the airport is still open. And Heathrow is operating at about 20% of normal capacity. Quite good connectivity from Heathrow all over the world, including places like China that people expected to be cut off a long time ago. A few developments on cruise cancellation policies as well. Royal Caribbean have pushed that up to September the 1st. That means up to 48 hours before sailing, you can cancel or seek a refund. Norwegian have gone a little bit further. They've gone up to September the 30th. MSC and Princess have a similar policy, cancellation up to July the 31st. And Princess are May 31st. That may change in the coming days. When are they going back in the water? Hurtigruten obviously are a special case. Their coastal voyage is not just a cruise ship, it's also the milk run for many Norwegian towns that expects to be back on April the 19th. Costa somewhat optimistically say they're going to be back in the water on May the 1st. And those few days are on May 10th, 11th, 12th. That's when we'll see Carnival's cruise ships, Princess's cruise ships, and of course Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, very big choices out of Ireland, all back that date. May 31st is when MSC expect to be back in the water. Things may change there. The cruise ship industry is disproportionately hit by events. Keeping the borders open, keeping the airports open, still a debate about that. Essential that medical personnel and supplies can get moved around. That's what we have to look for in the coming weeks. That's a debate that might continue in the coming days and weeks. You're brilliant. Thank you very much. Sorry for putting you through